Welcome to the Beasts of the NFC East. I am your host, Sean Gnitzcavich, with my co-host, Jeremy Goode. And Jeremy Goode, what's good? I don't know. I'll tell you what's not good. The Giants. The Giants are not good, Jeremy. The Giants are
Yeah.
not good. The only losers of the NFC East this Thanksgiving, and they ruined my Thanksgiving. But before I get into my rant, Jeremy Goode, what is good?
Another week of football. Obviously, we're in early December. Eagles with 8 straight wins, 9, something like that, 8. And they're just rolling. Very exciting. Saquon's great. Jalen Carter's
Oh yeah.
unbelievable. Cooper
Mhm.
DeGea is unbelievable. Quinyon Mitchell is great. He doesn't get any notice because nothing happens because he's just locked out, but he also makes plays. Oh, it's just
Yep.
great for the Eagles. I
Nolan
don't know.
Smith Jr. You used to complain about
Yes,
him. He's
yes,
coming to
yes. It's
life.
all
You guys have
everything.
linebackers with Zach Bond now.
Everything is coming together beautifully, which is always concerning in Philadelphia because you always something might be around the corner. But I mean, yeah, I was like you mentioned it with like Bond too, and just the acquisitions they made in the offseason with draft picks, with some free
Oh yeah.
agents. Won't go over it, but wow. Dallas wins. Of course, not the best game. I don't know what like not good for Dallas either because I think they need to lose. But like, I don't think winning for them
Yeah.
makes sense. But again, here we are with them.
Well, they don't need
Washington
Ashton
wins.
Ginty now because Rico Dowdle is the next best running back in the
I
league.
guess he is running
Is when you
better,
play the New York Giants.
for sure. Even
Yeah.
like Genty just in the first for Dallas for a team that just needs so much. Like also just they need more.
Yeah.
But Washington, we'll get into it. Definitely a commanding win, no pun intended.
I like that. I
And a
like that
bounce
too.
back for them. They also played a bad team, so we can't cheer them on too much. But busy week. Not the best games, but I thought the Eagles Ravens game was great for a lot of reasons. And yeah,
Oh yeah.
good week.
Yeah, it was a good game. I had that game on while I was decorating my Christmas tree, and you know
Yes,
what? Saquon had a good game.
he did.
Not a game that was as debilitating as it could have been. Uh, for a Giants fan that's still hungover from
Right.
Thanksgiving losing. Pretty rough, pretty rough. Yeah, the Giants Cowboys game. I'm sorry for anybody who watched it. I mean, it sucks. I wish I could just enjoy Thanksgiving. You
Yeah.
asked me before the pod how the cooking went. Well, we'll just get into the game. The Giants lose on Thanksgiving, middle of the day, making
Yeah.
every Giants fan miserable, embarrassing us, because there's these family members that are like, oh, I'm so sorry for it sucks, it sucks. But yeah, the Giants lose 20-27 to the Cooper Rush led Cowboys. Yes, we have Drew Lock, doesn't matter. The game was awful. The way it was timed up and I was cooking everything, like everything that needed to be done was during the Giants game. So like I try to prep everything, but I gotta check the
Oh
oven, I
yeah.
gotta put on the ham glaze, I gotta baste the turkey, I gotta pull everything out, make sure everything's warm, juggle them all around, burning myself. They're like, oh, look up, oh yeah, another 3-and-out by Drew Lock. Oh yeah, well, look, another drop pass by Malik Neighbors. Look, another non-sack for the Giants defense. It was a bad game. It was a bad, and it sucked. It kind of took away. I was just in a shit mood on Thanksgiving, which I'm around friends and family. I should be in a good mood. But the Giants, they just leave this stink on you. This
Mm.
stink, and it sucks so bad. And the Giants suck. And the Cowboys looked great. Mozzie Smith, man. Wow, Mozzie Smith is looking like the first rounder they drafted. He's looking really, really good. I mean,
Mhm.
hey, even Luke Schoonmaker didn't have that good of a game, but good. DeMarvian Overshown, who I love coming out of college. I think you liked him coming out of Texas
Yeah.
as well. He
Mm.
looked awesome. Sick pick six, super great. That was he kind of has that safety linebacker hybrid build,
Yeah.
and that plays like that just explode. Micah Parsons is back. I don't know if you knew that. Sack and a half. That's pretty nice. Mozzie Smith with a sack, like I said. Carl Lawson. I mean, the Giants, the O-line right now is at an all-time low because we have Chris
Yep.
Hubbard and Evan Neal as our bookend tackles. And shocker, Evan Neal does still suck. It was just the Panthers, which, I mean, dude, If the NFL was like college, where like you pay bad teams to like jumpstart your season, I mean the Giants, dude, like the Panthers, like we jumpstarted Bryce Young's career. Like
Yeah.
the past 3 games, he's looked good ever
Oh
since being
yeah.
the Giants. Um, it's just a bad game. The Cowboys, I will give you the flowers. Brandon Cooks is back. You got a touchdown. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, but CeeDee Lamb looked like garbage, dude. He was dropping passes left and right. Not good. Yeah, Cooper Rush didn't even look great. It's just you just played the Giants, whose defense sucks.
Yep.
Which, by the way, sorry, I don't mean to keep going on this tangent for forever, but yeah, the Giants now officially have the longest 11 games. 11 games, never been done in NFL history. 11
Right.
games on interception.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we kicked the tire on Emmanuel Forbes, who just got cut by the Commanders, which we can get to. Which I don't know if that's even worth it either. To
Yeah,
be honest,
he'll
but
probably he's going to clear waivers because people don't want to pick. They don't want to if you pick him up off waivers, you have to pay him his that first round salary for the. No one's going to do
yeah,
that. So
he's not worth it right now.
no.
He wasn't even really worth it. I don't know. Like there was some like I thought maybe the Giants in the second round because he was like a ball hawk, but
Yeah.
I mean that he hasn't been the same since the AJ Brown game. I mean,
Yeah.
what did you expect, Commanders? You broke them. The big news here for the Giants: Dexter Lawrence out for the season, officially
Yep.
announced. Dislocated elbow,
Yep.
put on IR. The second one, Theo Johnson, hurt his ankle, foot. He actually had a pretty decent game too. Like he's been looking promising. He hasn't had like the
Yeah.
full big breakout game, but he's been good for like 50 yards, a game for like the past few games. So that's sad that he's also out. I mean, it's just like as a Giants fan, like I gave up. Like I want to lose, but I
Yeah.
at least want like I don't know, like a sack, an interception, something exciting to root for, to get excited about, like a 100-yard game by Malik Neighbors, not these peppered in 9-yard targets to like stack your full PPR stat sheet. And then Tyrone Tracy, I know he had the fumble last week, so I feel like they were really trying to split it more with Devin Singletary. But I mean, only 9 rushes. He had the touchdown. That was nice that they put him in at the goal line. But like, I feel like there is a lot of times in the game where I feel like it was more Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary started the game, so I think that hopefully, because I know that John Mara said he's not firing Joe Shane, he's not firing Brian Dable. I mean, the Giants look awful. Nobody sees us winning another game, especially with Dexter Lawrence out. Like, if you actually want your job, Brian Dable, Devin Singletary isn't the guy. Like let's play Tyrone Tracy just for the fans too. I don't want to see Devin Singletary. That was another stupid pickup by Joe Shane. Like, all these running backs moving around, and we're like, let's get Devin Singletary, like the not exciting 5'8"
Yeah, I mean,
guy that we had in Buffalo.
that's what I thought at the time. He's someone who had starting experience, but he's just not he's not a feature back. He's not an every down back. He's small and he could have a spot on a team, but I just thought it was weird that you don't want him to be your head horse, and that's what
Yeah.
he kind of was at the beginning of the year. I think Tracy's better,
And
but
he had some good games too. But
yeah, I just think it probably doesn't help Daniel Jones out too. But again, I don't know if you're getting better necessarily with what you're going to spend on the market, but at the price you got Singletary for. But you did spend a few bucks on him for sure. So yeah, it starts at every facet with this team. It's just not having the best complementary pieces for Daniel Jones to begin with. It trickles down every way. Offensive line with some of the guys that were slotted in there, running back, receivers that haven't panned out as much, coaching too. So it's in everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think. I mean, we're gonna probably lose Mike Kafka as offensive coordinator. You want to leave this year. And if they keep Brian Dable, it's going to look bad if he fires Shane Bowen. But Shane Bowen's defense has been so unimpressive.
Yeah.
And then you see the Brian Burns thing I was excited about because I was trying to hang my hat on anything with losing Saquon and everything. I like Brian Burns, but he has 6 sacks on the season. He is 4th in pass rush win rate, whatever that, whatever that means. But but then you see Leonard Williams, who's been like having, I think he had another like 2.5 sack game and that pick 6 against Aaron Rodgers. Like we could, I know like he's getting older, but we get rid of Leonard Williams and we don't replace him. We just don't
Yeah.
replace him. We replace him with UDFA Elijah Chapman. Like that's the only guy that we. And then we also let Ashawn Robinson walk. It just we've been talking about this, and now with Dexter Lawrence gone, listen, if the whoever the Giants are playing for the remainder of the season, bet their running backs over 100 yards because that's
Yep.
what's going to be happening.
Yep.
They're going to be like, and meanwhile the Giants run or the Cowboys run defense is great. Mozzie Smith was great. I mean, like Tyrone and Devin Singletary averaged 3.5 yards a carry between the two. You know, and that has to do with the drafting too. That's John Michael Schmitz. John Michael Schmitz is like 2nd round pick, very promising. He's making Mozzie Smith look like an all pro. Like this is the second time this season that's happened too. Yeah, it's just sad. I did see, and there's not that much to talk. Like it's going to be the same thing going forward. Like it's like just misery. Like I just want the season to end at this point. You know, I get excited for the games. I'm like, oh, maybe Tyrone will have a good game. Maybe, and then it's just this disappointing garbage that ruins my Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I saw Ryan Dunleavy, a Giants Jets reporter. He tweeted that this might be the worst season for the Giants ever. We have a chance to have the worst record we've ever had since like 1955. So worst winning percentage, longest losing streak we've ever had if we don't win another game, which it looks likely at this point. And then obviously like we broke the record with the interceptions. Like this might be actually the worst Giants season of all time for our 100th season.
Yeah.
It might be. There is a good chance that this is going to be. And Daniel Jones, and it's going to be even worse because as bad as all those stats are, we end the season against the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you guys will be playing for a seating spot. It's in
Most
Philly.
likely. Yep.
Saquon Barkley will probably, based on his base,
Right.
will be in line to get the rushing record of all time against the Giants, just to top it all off. To top it all off. And if you think Joe Shane's surviving that, I don't know. I don't know. And Brian Dable too. To be honest, it seems like the players are sick of him. It's like it seems as though he's lost the locker room. To be real, and like his play calling has not been exceptional. Like I don't know. What I loved about him when he was coach of the year, I feel like everything is kind of just. And I didn't see that happening. I didn't see that. I don't think a lot of Giants fans did. But I mean, I don't want to be the Bears and draft a rookie quarterback and then realize Brian Dable is not the guy again, and then give him a new coach 1 year into their career. You know,
who's in the head coach? That wouldn't be their quarterback either. It would be which I guess isn't the worst thing. But usually, when you bring in a new head coach, you're in the situation where you need a quarterback too. So it goes hand in hand. It's kind of nice when the head coach. Usually an offensive-minded guy can pick their quarterback that they like, within reason, of course. So, yeah. I mean, I thought the Giants started off decently, no doubt, with Drew Lock and his ability to run. I thought that was good. And it just went downhill quickly. It's just a team that it's one of those teams where 60 minutes is just a long time, and in like I say it in the worst possible way, like without insult, but it's just like there's just so many things that can go wrong for this team for a full 60 minutes, and then it does ultimately. Especially, and you can tell that especially too because they're playing a bad team with the Cowboys, and they just didn't have a lot of the game. It was 20-7, and the Giants obviously have a nice little. Come back in the end of some sort. But, the true fans, true Giants fans too, know that, they needed that earlier. And of course, there's a reason why it didn't come earlier. Just tough. I think it's another mission accomplished though for the Giants in the long term in efforts to better their draft pick. It's a tough world to live in, but I think if this team wins at all going forward, I would even say win multiple games going forward. That would just be devastating. To move
Yeah.
back several picks with the way this team, I think I've said this before. There's just certain teams where like the season needs to end mid-November, end in November because of where things are going, where things have gone, where things are going. The Giants are that team. Jacksonville
Yeah.
is probably that team, especially if Trevor Lawrence is out for a while.
They got
Las Ve-
McCorkle. They'll be
Las
all right.
Vegas, yeah, Las Vegas is that team. Um, I
Well, they
do,
almost beat the Chiefs.
I do
They
love
almost
the
beat the
Steelers.
Chiefs,
Yes,
and I really wish they did. I mean, I feel like Vegas still has, and it's same with the Jags. I mean, the Jags are. I don't know how Doug Peterson. I think they're waiting to the end of the year to fire
I
him.
think
To
so
be honest.
too. I think that's probably the best case too for that team. They did play harder too after
Yeah.
I guess their first on the game. But yeah, they're just teams that just need the season to end, and it adds insult to record injury that they have to just they still have like 4 games left
Yeah,
in the
Dexter
season.
Lawrence dislocating his elbow, man. Like that
Yep,
sucked, dude.
that does suck.
Brian Burns is playing through injury. Like this season has gone as bad. Like we lost our two best players to injury,
Yeah.
Andrew Thomas, Dexter Lawrence. You want to know what would be even better? What would make this season just perfect is if Sam Darnold gets hurt, Daniel Jones goes in and like leads the Vikings to the Super Bowl. That would be honestly, if Daniel Jones does go in, I'm going to be rooting for him. I'm one of those guys.
Okay.
I want him to succeed.
Yeah.
Like it was never going to work in New York after this. I didn't like him in New York, but I
Right.
will root for him. Just like I root for Evan Ingram. Like
That's fair.
if Saquon went to any other team, I'd root for him. But I hate it. Evan Ingram, dude. By the way, when Trevor Lawrence got decked, dude, was like
Yes,
right there.
first guy. Yes, he started
It's
the
so
whole
funny.
thing.
I was reading these comments on Instagram on the post, and it's all these like Jaguars fans like, that's why I'm so proud to have an Ingram jersey. And I'm like, I wasn't that proud to have. I have my Giants Ingram jersey. Probably one of the only Giants fans with an Ingram jersey.
Yeah.
And I loved him when he was on the team. I mean, the drops are an issue. But Malik Neighbors drops too.
He was
an issue.
Not to get on the whole Evan Ingram thing, but at Ole Miss, he was obviously had a really nice last year. Got to the Giants, had moments for sure, but never was anything people thought was special for where he was drafted.
Yeah.
And then he gets to Jacksonville. He sort of shows a lot more potential and consistency. I still don't think this year. I don't think he's like anything special. But
no, he's been injured too to start the year, so it's been a slow year for him. But yeah, I feel like there's one more thing that I really wanted to talk about for the Giants before we move on here. Oh no, I wanted to say I do keep Tankathon. Like I clear all my tabs on my phone Safari. I keep the Tankathon at the top left. It's just sometimes it's nice to look at. Although we held first overall pick until like the end of the games, and then the strength of schedule keeps shifting. So now, like we had like a strength of schedule of like 5.29, which like put us ahead of the Raiders, I think.
Yes.
And now it's 5.545, so we're behind the Raiders. I don't know. It's just I think it's stupid, dude.
Yes.
I think like and I think the Giants also are going to score. That was another one. On pace to score the least amount of points ever, I believe too. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess worst team ever.
And that's what it should be.
I guess they are competing for worst Giants team ever. I feel like I just feel like this season blends in with so many from the last 7 years. I guess this is the worst, but like there have been years where it's like I don't know. I guess for me, the Giants relatively started off okay-ish this year, where they were able to get a few in. You're like, oh, okay, and then everything just went south. But like, there have been some years, a few years ago, where it's like, oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean,
the Jake Fromm, Mike Glennon. Jake Fromm, Mike Glennon was.
Yes, that's sort of the season I remember. But yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Shout out to my brother for getting me tickets to the last game of the season and to watch Jake Fromm,
there you
QB
go.
sneak 3 times in a row on their own 5-yard line. That was a sick game.
Unbelievable.
Thanks, Nick.
It's so that's a year I remember in a few neighbor years with that. But yeah, this year is not been good. I think in some ways, in a sick way, if you're a Giants fan, you're looking for some win this was a year where you were able to get off of Daniel Jones, which I think is long term wise, you're finally able to move forward.
Yeah.
Whether obviously there's more issues than just Daniel Jones, but he certainly was a big one, and I think that you can hopefully find the next guy, whenever that may be.
Yeah. Hopefully Cam Ward. I don't know. I'm starting to like waver. I mean, Cam Ward, they lost to Syracuse, but that wasn't really his
Yes.
fault. He still played really well. But anything with the Cowboys you want to talk about? Rico Dowdle, good game, looked great. I think Tom
Yeah.
Brady gave him like the Player of the Game award.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's not having a terrible season, but he's not somebody who you want to be your RB1.
He's picked it up, I think, the last few weeks,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's not an RB1. And the last few, I forget who Dallas played last week, but I think there's a pattern of
Commanders.
they'd be watched who are a little fraudulent. So yeah, I want to see Dallas play harder teams, and we've seen them play harder teams. They went through that gauntlet and they got smacked by every team. So in a way, I think that last few weeks have been a product of who they've played, but you gotta play who's on your schedule too.
Yeah. Well, let's. Anything else before we move on to the? All right.
No,
I think we'll go. We'll go in order here. So the Tennessee Titans go to FedEx Field and get clobbered by the Commanders. As you said, a commanding performance by the Commanders. I was really hoping, especially because of the way it started, that we'd see Marcus Mariota revenge game. It would have been fun. But this was just. There's a stat. I mean, like Jaden Daniels looked dominant. If you're a Commanders fan, like this is what I envy so much. Terry McLaurin with 2 touchdowns. Has the most touchdowns he's ever had in his career in a single season, and that was just with the 1 touchdown. I think he's on 9 on the year now. I can double check that. 9 on the year. I saw a stat at halftime. Jaden Daniels had 3 incompletions and 4 passing touchdowns. 3 passing touchdowns. Yeah. Right? No, 2 passing touchdowns and the rushing touchdown. Yeah, so 3 touchdowns and 3 incompletions at half. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And on defense, like their defense looked great. And for a Titans defense that was supposed to be, that has been one of their bright spots.
Statistically up there, right?
Yeah. Did not stop Brian Robinson Jr. This is the one game where Brian Robinson's healthy and I don't put him for the touchdown bet. Of course, he gets to. I had Tony Pollard. I thought Tony Pollard would be. Nope, ruined everything for me. The Commanders look good. The only thing that I would be worried about as a Commanders fan is that three game losing streak that you guys went on might put the playoffs. I mean, I believe they still have the 7th seed locked, but might put them in jeopardy of missing the playoffs.
It gets interesting for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. But Jeremy, what are your thoughts on this game and Jaden Daniels?
Washington essentially forces the Titans and Will Levis to throw the ball 37 times. Levis completed 18 of those passes, which is around 49%. Awful. For only 212 yards, awful. He did throw 2 touchdowns. I don't care about that. That can happen. That can happen too. Yeah. Throwing touchdown throws, it depends. It's more circumstances and whatnot. It depends on how it happens. They only ran the ball 11 times. You're not going to win any game running the ball 11 times. Pollard 8 for 35, 4.4 average. Not awful, but need more volume there. Will Levis had two rushes too that were for -3, and Spears had a rush for 3. Not enough there. You got to run the ball. I don't care. I get that you're down early, but and by a good bit, but if you run the ball too, you're bleeding clock in a way, so that means Washington can't score as much. So I guess to try not to be down too early to start. That didn't work out. No one that inspired. I mean, Calvin Ridley, a few catches, but nothing really going. Tyler Boyd, a few catches.
Calvin Ridley did not have the game that I was hoping he would have. You know,
Right.
I mean, that's as a fantasy manager, as a
Yeah.
fantasy football. Um, Especially like I thought maybe you take advantage of this Commanders defense, but the Commanders defense, I mean, the Titans offense is bad, but the Commanders
Yes.
defense looked really, really good. Frankie Louvu continues to put on a show. I mean, what a great signing. That was like the number one signing I think we both had for them in this offseason.
I
I
liked it.
did see a
Yeah.
stat. I think he's like the only player with over 80 tackles and 8 sacks. I mean, that's like kind of a niche sack, but like, he's a linebacker. He's a blitzing linebacker, like one of the best I'd say in the league, and it's awesome that they have him moving forward. I mean, that's
Yep.
and Dante Fowler didn't do anything this game, but like he's had that resurgent year too. I think he has 8.5 sacks as well. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah, pretty good for this for a bunch of no name like ragtag players put together. Like even if the Commanders don't make the playoffs this year, I think they still will, but it's getting iffy. I mean, I think we can all agree that they've put together like next year they're going to be taken very seriously.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think
even this year they're going
Washington
to take it
I
seriously.
think Washington put together some money this year to get some free agents. They definitely spent some money, and they'll have some next year too. But they spent money to change up the team for this year, and they did a nice job here, like getting just better players in the system. I think everyone's surprised like how much better they are. Um, and yeah, I mean, just their running back room throughout the year, they've had a lot of guys, but like they've been able to run the ball with different guys. You know, when
Yeah,
Brian Robinson's healthy, he's been good. Chris Rodriguez has been good.
yeah.
Uh,
Chris Rodriguez was awesome. Yeah, Jeremy McNichols like
McNichols
came
has
back.
been, yeah. So like
Yeah,
kind of wild there, alternating there. So that's and then you have guys like McLaurin who and then like Zach Ertz is like rejuvenizing his career, which is impressive. Um,
yeah.
and we did have a Ben Sinnott catch too, which is
Hell
important.
yeah! Finally, yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
he's been like number 3,
yep.
behind like Jake Bates, John Bates, Bates.
Yes,
Yeah,
Bates.
yeah.
So
Um,
yeah, looks like how many people made a catch? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. 8 players had a catch for Washington. Now, Sinnott was probably at the I forget where it was, but maybe that wasn't his plan. Brian Robinson, maybe so too. But yeah, they're moving the ball around. There are different guys who can get involved in the offense who aren't necessarily stars, but who can move the ball, catch it with and move just in the backfield with their feet in the run game. So I don't want to get it like they played Tennessee. Tennessee's awful. I can't believe Tennessee has 3 wins right now. But a lot of teams, when you have a 3-game losing streak like they did in a really awful loss against Dallas last week in your home stadium, maybe the unraveling goes more. Obviously, I think it helps that you played Tennessee, but they beat them by 23 points, which is
yeah,
certainly
and
a statement, and
yeah.
says that maybe they'll stick around a little longer for a few more weeks.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's tough. It's tough because they finally have their bye next week, which should be good.
Yes.
But yeah, Austin Eckler on IR. I don't think we mentioned that. That's like, but I mean, not that it even really matters because you see Chris Rodriguez popping off, and then Jeremy McNichols too still gets some carries. What was the other big? What I'm trying to think of the offensive coordinator name. Pretty boy, Cliff Kingsbury.
Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah, yeah. He definitely hears the fans because there
Yes.
is 2 things. He never moves the starting wide receiver off of the left,
Which is a
and Terry
mistake.
McLaurin hasn't been getting any first half
Yep.
uh, reception. So the first play of the game puts Terry McLaurin on the right, tosses him the ball, bam, first
Yep.
down, and then it was right back to the left. but
Yeah.
it was it's good that he saw that. And like you see Terry McLaurin, he's having the time of his life. Like he has struggled. He's been with some awful, awful, awful quarterbacks.
And still put
Um,
up elite numbers with those awful quarterbacks.
yeah, like perennial 1,000-yard receiver since he came
Yep.
to the league as like a third-round pick. Yeah, I think it was crazy because that was the same draft where they took Paris Campbell also out of Ohio State before him in the second round, and Terry McLaurin
Yes,
ended up being.
probably.
But we seen that, yeah.
That was the year the Eagles took J.J. Arcega-Whiteside too in the second round when they had
Oh
McLaurin.
yeah, and that was the year that the Giants got rid of Odell Beckham Jr. and then waited to the 5th round to draft Darius Slayton when there was a bunch of great wide receivers and we had 3 first-round picks and we missed on Deebo Samuel. We missed on. Oh man, there's another really good. AJ Brown. AJ Brown was there. DK Metcalf.
Yes.
A bunch of studs. And we're like, no, let's take this guy who's going to rob somebody in a poker game. DeAndre Baker. That was obviously we got Dexter Lawrence and Daniel Jones in that draft. So 2 hits, I guess. 2 hits. Yeah. But yeah, anything else you want to talk about for this Commanders game?
Not really. I think I guess it go 13 long weeks without a bye. Maybe some of it makes sense how they went on that losing skid. They also played 2 good teams in that losing skid, and the game against the Eagles, they were competitive-ish, but didn't really look that amazing. So, timely bye, rest up, and I guess they get to play the Saints, which will be nice for them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're remaining scheduled to get into the playoffs. Like, it doesn't look terrible. Saints, like you just said. Then the Eagles at home. And it's not like you guys beat them, but it's like, it's definitely the hardest game. And then you got the Falcons, and Kirk Cousins is looking like garbage. It might be Michael Penix by that time. And then the Cowboys, which, I think, well, they're playing the Cowboys in Dallas, so, aside from the Giants, the Cowboys can't win at home. We'll see. We'll see if maybe they can get some revenge. I'm kind of rooting for the Commanders to make it into the playoffs. I don't know about you. You probably not. Like, I'm out.
If we can,
I'm out. Like, I kind of want to see it.
Sure, but yeah, it doesn't matter to me ultimately.
Yeah. All right. You ready to talk about your Philadelphia Eagles? All right, cool. All right, Jeremy, your Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
Went to Baltimore and put a pounding on those Ravens, 24-19.
12.
But that was with a 12. Yeah, I knew we were getting there. I'll let you talk about this one because I watched the game.
Yes.
But like I said, I was decorating the tree. I knew this would be more of a more your deal. Take it away, Jeremy.
Yeah, Eagles get a great win in Baltimore. I think both of us, I was iffy going into the game, not because I thought the Eagles were better than Baltimore. Don't get me wrong, on paper and just on the field too. It's tough to go to a place like that on the road. Eagles fans travel well, and I think we saw that, but it's still a road game. Lamar Jackson is hard to plan for. Derrick Henry is hard to plan for. Their defense is not as good as years past, which is interesting because they're a team that's usually built off of their defense. But their front defensive tackles and their front line is very good, and they're great against the run. So it was a challenge. The Eagles go down 9 early on. They didn't have many plays because they weren't moving the ball, and the plays that they were scripted, the first 15, just were not good. They go down 9 quickly. They respond with a touchdown. Good drive that started, I think, in midfield because the defense got to stop when Baltimore was at their own 3-yard line, which is helpful. They didn't look back. They go up 14-9, give a field goal at halftime. Justin Tucker missed a few field goals, an extra point. That helped.
2 extra points too, I think. Yeah, man.
Yes, maybe.
Dude, what's going on with Justin Tuck, dude?
Don't know.
One of the greatest. It's just
probably have to move on from him because just not a bad thing, but
meaningful playoff football is coming up.
Exactly. Yeah, you just need someone more reliable. Saquon Barkley scores a touchdown with 8 minutes left in the game to make it a 2-score game, 9 points. They then get a field goal with a minute left. Then Lamar ran for 40 yards, even though Milton Williams was held like crazy. They pick up the flag, which makes no sense. They then throw for a touchdown, onside kick. Eagles get it, and they win. Great game. The defense won the Eagles this game. You can also say the offensive line and run game did too, but the defense just stepped up. They made play after play. Um, they really just shut down the Ravens in the second half. Jalen Carter, stud. The stats don't always show it. I think his stats were great this week, but they don't always show it. He's not always the one getting the sack, getting the tackle for loss, but he's always the first one on the scene to set up the play, to disrupt something. He did that all of the game. Milton Williams was also great getting to the quarterback. A lot of the reason why he's been so able and has such a great year is because he's playing with Jalen Carter. Zach Bond continued to make plays, had a big sack. Cooper DeJean picked up Derrick Henry and tackled him on a
It had a
catch.
really cool dance. Yeah.
His playmaking, it's a broken record, but he's always in the right spot. He always makes a play. He always makes a tackle. It is so un-Philadelphia, but especially since he's a rookie. Quinyon Mitchell played well. No Slay this week. Isaiah Rodgers was, he picked it up in the second half. I thought, just a great game by the Eagles defense. They win a big game. I think that if they lost, it would have, like I said last week, it would have made sense. I don't think people would have been surprised. But I thought the Eagles were a better team going into the game in every which way. It doesn't mean you're going to win it. Of course, they didn't start off that way, but they adjusted well. Kellen Moore adjusted well with the play calling for offense. Vic Fangio, they started off in a weird way. They gave up 2 scores on the first 2 possessions, and then they adjusted too. It's a team that just has adjusted well throughout the entire year. It would be nice in some ways if they could just start a little better. It doesn't even have to be a score. It could just be like moving the ball down the field a little bit, running some time and whatnot. But then in some ways, maybe there's a rhyme and reason to it because it certainly works. They're just faster, they're quicker, they're tougher, they're stronger than all these teams, especially at the end of the games, especially in the fourth quarter where they wear teams down. It's great to see. Big time win. Jalen played well. Didn't throw it that many times. I think only threw it 19 times. Stat wise, wasn't amazing. I do give him credit though, because I think in these situations, he controls the game well and manages the game well. You can call that a game manager. I would not disagree. I think there is an art to it. And I think that when you don't turn the ball over like that in those situations, you're going to win games. Now, obviously, you want a little more out of your quarterback. I'm happy they got the win, and I'm happy that he stuck to the script, didn't force anything, and sort of let the game play out without making mistakes on his end. It's not perfect. I don't know if you can win a Super Bowl continuously playing that way, the way they do, the way they rely on the run, especially when you play like the Ravens are a good team, but when you play like teams in the maybe NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, where you're playing the best of the best, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. A team like the Lions, I don't know if that will prevail. You keep on prevailing, but it certainly is their game plan now, and it's worked really well. We'll just have to see how long it'll last, but I think they have to get the pass game going a little more. But if they do, I mean, this team might be, maybe it's an exaggeration, but they might be a top 5 team, maybe in NFL history, if they get the pass game going to what people think it is. Oh my goodness, that would be wild. While still maintaining, your run identity to maybe a little less because you have to develop the pass more. But yeah, it's just great. The offensive line was amazing. They just posted a picture on their socials with the 5 of them sitting together. It's just a bad, and then Saquon sort of with 8 minutes left, it felt like the game was over because it was a 2-score game on that 25-yard touchdown run. They just break teams down at the end, and it's fun to see. It's something that teams did to the Eagles last year because they were too old, they were too slow, and too dumb to play better. And I've said this before. What's his name? Oh my god. Howie. He does this every. It's usually 1 year the team's great and everything's in the right idea. They're young or youngish. and then the next year they just get so old, and it's like, how does this happen? But they're finally young, where it looks like Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Reed Blankenship, Milt
Jordan
Williams.
Davis, Nolan
Exactly.
Smith.
Yep. They're all just young. They're all in their early 20s, mid-ish 20s. That's how you win. You're going to have to pay some of these guys, and that's going to be tough, especially Bond, I think. But I'd like to get
Yeah, that's a 1-year deal.
It is a 1-year deal, which
Yeah.
I think he's gonna. He might be. I think he's gonna go for $8 million around, maybe more.
I think probably.
Yeah,
He's playing, dude.
Milt
he's getting,
Williams.
like,
I think Milt Williams is going to be a
12.
name where a lot of people look at. I think Kenny Gainwell too. Even like someone like Gainwell, where it looks like the free agency is life for running back. Obviously, that's another issue. Big time win for the Eagles. It's just slow starts. Second quarter they look great. Third quarter a little iffy. Third quarter looked like the first quarter, but the end to the halves, the fourth quarter being the end, they just played really well, and it's fun to watch. I think they are the best team in the NFL right now. That can change, obviously, going forward. It's a week by week league. I just think with their resume, how they're winning, how they're beating a lot of teams badly, and I consider the Ravens, they beat them pretty badly. They're just playing the best football in the NFL. No disrespect to the Lions. They've had a great year, but I just think the Eagles are the best team right now in the NFL.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of what happened last year. This is like when you guys were like falling apart. Now this is when you guys are like hitting full
better.
stride.
Yeah, you're right. I've heard that. Yeah,
and Devonta Smith is still, he should be what? He should be back next week, right?
I would think so. I think that hopefully this was a 2-week injury where you really rested him with that hamstring, and see where he is next week.
Yeah,
for Carolina.
And man, Saquon might break the rushing title next week against the Panthers.
Yeah,
I mean, that's.
I'm a little. They're using him a lot, which you always have to be cautious with the amount of touches. I think he's going to be. Oh, I forget. Maybe in the 4s if he averages what he
touches in general.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think he's gonna. I'll be honest. I think you pay the price the next year ultimately, but.
I mean, look at Christian McCaffrey this year. Yeah. I mean, that's just when on IR, he's probably done for the season. I don't think the Niners don't even make the playoffs. I mean, it doesn't look like that whatsoever.
Yep.
But hey, our guy Isaac Girendo, he's going to be Jordan Mason also got put on IR. So Isaac Girendo season, that was one of our guys. You want to know what's really silly is that one of my main leagues where I could use him is the league that Coral's in with me as well.
Okay.
And when she needed to pick up somebody, I was like, yeah, you should pick up Isaac Girendo. That was like 3 weeks ago, just as like a flyer. And because I went to go, I got to go snag him up. And I was like, damn it, Coral has him.
Unreal.
I can't trade with her. Yeah, rough. But, sorry, I'm allergic to talking about winning teams with these Eagles. Yeah, it's this sucks, dude.
It's nice. I mean, they bring in Fangio, who's been unbelievable.
Dude, come together.
Who in the beginning of the year just didn't look this way. Kellen Moore's really developed into a nice offensive coordinator. I don't know if someone wants to tell him as a head coach for next year. Might be a little early. You might want another year sample size. For the Eagles' sake, you want to hold on to Kellen Moore too. But they just got adults in the room when it came to the coordinators. So last year they had 2 rookies coordinators, 2 young guys who seemed like good ideas. And I'll still say they seem like good ideas, but just getting in veterans like even Kellen Moore, even though he's in his like late 30s, he's still been calling plays for like.
Oh yeah.
So he's been around the block for sure.
And remember how stoked everybody was that he was going to like be so amazing in San Diego.
Oh yeah.
And then just a one and done collapse. So that was more just like
Herbert getting hurt didn't help.
Garbage.
Yeah. And Staley's just an awful head coach. True. So, but it's it's a hard fought win, fun win. Not perfect. The team's not perfect. I think that kind of makes it even more intriguing how it seems like they could be playing at an even higher level. Maybe they never get there, and maybe they don't need to get there, but they're always leaving room for something to get better, and maybe something gets better
Yeah.
one week and something doesn't. So like, yeah, it's just nice to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, beating this Ravens team with 118 yards
Yep.
passing, but you don't need it when you can
Yeah.
just run the ball with Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
Like I mean, he is kind of your motor. The slow start thing, I'd be a little bit concerned about, especially if you're talking about a run. Like the Lions, I feel like are all gas all the time. Like that
Right.
might become an issue. With these slow starts where you guys would be playing catch up and you can't because I mean, look at this win. I mean, you had Saquon to just Jalen Hurts was almost 50% completion for only 100 yards.
Yeah.
He didn't need to pass it, but I don't know. We'll see.
The good-
Also, I mean, at the end of that first half, I mean, AJ Brown already had the 66 yards.
Yep.
He was already there. So I mean, he took the foot. Like, obviously, you could probably have kept going if he had.
Yeah,
to,
I mean
but,
the Eagles only threw the ball 5 times in the second half, which is
yeah.
I mean, I guess it makes sense with the way the game went, but yeah, kind of wild. With the way the defense is playing though, even with the slow start, it's like maybe it just works, but like help yourself out. Like you don't have to go down that path. I think the sad thing is I think against Baltimore, I can understand a slow start. It's just it's a slow start against bad teams too. It's not like I don't. It's weird.
Even
It's
the
one of those,
Giants. The Giants
yeah.
game was close in the beginning when I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
it's
at
just
least Saquon hasn't broke off. And, yeah.
it's just weird. It's weird. It's weird to comprehend because of the talent and because the first 15 scripted plays should be money plays essentially.
Oh yeah.
If you're a good offense, of course, and it just hasn't worked out. But it picks up at the. It's odd. It's very weird. I don't know how. It doesn't make sense. There are ideas, but it just yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think just because we got to keep things moving. Any other points you want to put down before we move into our fantasy?
No, I wish I took Baltimore, and I think I had Eagles cover maybe, or I'm not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was what a game, what a response by the Eagles.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the fantasy. Yeah, it's all fun and games, you guys, you and your Eagles. So Jeremy did a best ball NFC East.
Yes.
So we only drafted NFC East players. It's the best quarterback, 2 best running backs, 2 best wide receivers, best tight end, best flex, half point PPR. Jeremy, while I'm pulling these up, you got any predictions here?
Not a crazy week for Saquon, which hurts. AJ didn't get in the end zone for you, which helps.
Yeah.
Oh, Jalen had a tushy, but didn't really throw for many. It could go either way. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe a low week.
All right, so I'll start off. With my team.
Yes.
My quarterback was Jaden Daniels, not Drew Lock. Shocker. Jaden Daniels with 27.64 points.
Oh wow.
Running back 1, Rico Dowdle with 19.8 points. Running back 2, Tyrone Tracy Jr. with 13.5. Wide receiver 1, Malik Neighbors with 11.3. Wide receiver 2, AJ Brown with 9.1. Tight end Theo Johnson, 7.9. Man, that's a sad one. And then flex Jalen Tolbert with 5.1, giving me a total of 94.34. Yeah. Hey, is there any way I could add Luke Schoonmaker to my team after this?
Yeah, sure.
With Theo Johnson out?
Yeah, I don't care.
Oh,
sure.
I can give you Chris Rodriguez if you want to do that.
I'll do whatever. Yeah, sure.
Because it's funny because your team.
Yeah, if you're down tight ends, you might as well.
He's available. Nobody drafted Schoonmaker. I got Sinnott, but he's going to be getting me like 0.9 points a game at his rate,
Yes.
In tight end, which was a weakness for you when we did like that mid-season redraft.
Yeah,
Zach Ertz,
that really helped.
2 weeks in a row that you've had a tight end as your flex.
Yes.
With Dallas Goedert being back from health too.
Yes.
So you had quarterback Jalen Hurts, 17.62 points. Cooper Rush was just behind him, but Jalen Hurts was your number 1. Running back Saquon Barkley, 18.7 points. Running back 2, Brian Robinson Jr., 17.4. Wide receiver 2, Brandon Cooks, 9.1. Wide receiver 1, Terry McLaurin, 23.4. Tight end, Zach Ertz 11, flex Dallas Goedert also 11. Yeah, which gives you a total of 108.22. So I got some shots my way. Actually, I'm going to get going to work soon. So no shots right now, but soon.
I have full faith that you will get them in eventually.
Oh, yeah. Well, yesterday I had a little bit too much not getting the tree ready. It was a slow start to the morning, you know? Yeah. But let's preview next week's games. You don't have to go too in depth, especially with some of the teams like the Giants. Let's start off, I guess, with the Giants. The Giants are at home. Haven't had a home win. That's another thing. No home wins for the Giants this season. Another reason why we suck so bad. But the Saints of the Rizzler go into MetLife. This is a 1:00 Eastern game. Let me pull up these spreads. Jeremy, what do you think the spread is? This is always a fun little guess the spread. What are you thinking?
I'll go Giants -1.5.
Really? You think the Giants are favored?
Yeah, because they're home.
Oh, ooh, man.
Is it bad?
It's pretty bad. It's Giants +5 at home. +5.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, dude, the Saints, ever since they fired Dennis Allen, I feel like I've been playing better.
Have they? I haven't paid attention
Yeah.
to the Saints, honestly.
I mean, but dude, we don't have. Yeah, I mean, well, they lost to the Rams yesterday, but they had a chance. Their defense was playing really well. Hopefully, Jermaine Illuminor is back. Our defensive line is going to be nothing. I mean, we might as well just put Azeez Ojulari at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Try to just put all edge rushers in there.
Oh, I guess you guys are injured too. Yeah.
Yeah, we suck.
I would say if Lawrence, if Sexy Dexy were playing, and other guys are like healthy more or less, I would have Giants favorite. But yeah, I don't know. I guess.
Yeah.
Vegas.
We don't even know who our quarterback's going to be. I was just double checking.
Yeah.
Have not decided on a quarterback yet, which should have an idea by Wednesday. And I think that was one of the reasons. Like, I think personally, and this is like really the storyline. I guess like who do you think would be a better fit? I mean, they both didn't play well.
Both are bad. I think it's a good question. I think Locke gives. Locke's ugly is ugly, but he's more of a quarterback than DeVito. He has a good arm.
Yeah.
He can move too.
Yeah, he's physical. He's a big body guy.
I think Locke. I don't think he's going to win, but I just think Locke's better. I saw
just to make it more entertaining for the Giants. Yeah,
that too. I think I saw the ugly against the Cowboys. Don't get me wrong, but like he's just more. He's more of a real thing than DeVito. Yeah.
Yeah, that is fair. Well, with the Commanders on the bye, next game we have up for next week.
I'll say, what did you say? You said, what are you saying? Saints and the points?
Oh yeah, I didn't even pick. Yeah, I would do probably Saints and the points. I'm not even kidding. Like the Giants
I would do
bad.
Saints outright, Giants cover on it. I guess.
I hope that we're close. I
think it could be
to be fun.
I'll say Giants cover. I get that they're bad. They most likely won't. I'll say they cover though. That's a big number for a Saints team that I don't think is that good.
No, they're not. And honestly, I think gun to my head, I think they cover because hopefully Brian Dable has some spark. Otherwise, he might as well just resign himself.
I mean, you can easily
have to get this team going.
You can easily ultimately see this Saints team winning by a touchdown for sure, at least. Yeah. But to New York.
We'll see. Yes. The next one is also 1:00. And the Carolina Panthers are going to Philadelphia.
Yes.
What do you think the spread is on this one?
All right, let's get a better spread than that. Carolina's playing better. Eagles are playing great. Eagles -7.5.
You're off again on this one. It
might be too high.
No, Eagles -12.
What the?
That's what I'm saying, dude. The Panthers have been playing well, dude.
I don't get that. Yeah, that's
the Bucs. The Bucs.
Who got hurt? Who on the Panthers got hurt against the Bucs?
I don't know. I mean, dude, I know it's funny too that so they lost in overtime to the Bucks with a
Yes.
Chuba Hubbard fumble at the end,
Yep.
and he's on the sideline like not crying, but it's funny because that's what happened with the Tyrone Tracy game
Yes.
against the Panthers a couple weeks back. I didn't ever actually see anybody making that correlation, so there, it's made. Yeah, I don't know. I could easily see the Eagles doing this. I mean, he almost beat the Ravens by 12. He should have, minus
Yeah.
that last second touchdown.
Yeah.
But I will do. I don't know. I like Bryce Young. The thing is, your defense is still better than the Bucks defense.
Yes.
But yeah, and I'm actually kind of, the Giants game is way on at the same time, but I'll definitely be paying close attention because I want to see if Bryce Young can keep this redemption arc going. I saw he's third in the league in QBR or passer rating since taking over.
Interesting.
So, I mean, and that's against the Chiefs, who's a pretty good defense. The
Yes.
Bucks, who's a decent defense, and then it's against the Giants, who are freaking cheeks. But yeah, I'm gonna do Panthers plus 12 there.
Yeah,
but I could easily see this.
Passer rating is an interesting stat because
yeah,
sometimes Jalen gets a really favorable passer rating when he probably didn't deserve it, and then sometimes it's low when he looked better. But and other quarterbacks have probably had similar experiences. I'll go Eagles. I'll go Eagles minus 12 as well, just because I can see it very easily. I'm just surprised that it opened up. Vegas, I guess I guess in a lot of ways it makes, if that's they just they just believe that much of the Eagles with the way they're playing. So I can see it. I get it. 12 is a big number in the NFL. My goodness. But I'll take Eagles. Eagles at minus 12.
All right. And then the last game, one that was probably, really anticipated. I bet you really stoked about in the beginning of the year, the Cowboys Monday Night Football.
Yes.
Against the Bengals in Dallas. Spread on this one. You got a guess?
Well, who's home?
You've been off the first two. Dallas home.
Is Burrow hurt? Burrow's healthy?
Burrow's healthy, dude. Like, that was a good game against the Steelers.
Geez.
Their defense sucks, but the offense, like, Joe Burrow's having an MVP season.
I think the Bengals should be favored, but then part of me would be like, I could see Cowboys backdooring it at minus 1.5. I'll go Bengals minus 2.5.
Dude, you have been. It's Bengals minus 5.5, which honestly, the way the Bengals offense have been playing, dude.
Yeah.
I see this, and I see the Bengals covering the spread. I know that the Cowboys got frisky against the Commanders. They didn't look good against a bad Giants team. The Bengals' record is awful, but like I was saying, this is a good.
Hasn't been the offensive.
Joe Burrow.
I think I saw a stat where they're like 0-4 when they've scored like 30 plus points. Maybe that's wrong, but they've scored a lot. They've scored the 30s a lot, and they've lost a lot this year. So just shows you how bad their defense is, but how their offense has certainly been very good. I was debating whether it'd be Bengals minus 2.5 or Bengals minus 3.5. 5.5 is, I guess they all kind of make sense in their own way. It's just surprising that the NFL, I think Vegas is definitely overreacting more than they would have probably maybe late in the year. I don't know. I'll take Bengals. I'll take them with the points. Although this is the one where I really could see I don't know. Cowboys suck. Well, CD's healthy. Micah's healthy.
Been dropping the ball. Micah's looking good.
I'll say Cowboys cover, but Bengals outright, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. And you were right about the 0-4 when scoring 30 points. I was just looking at their schedule.
Yeah, that's wild.
Nuts. Actually, I think that should do it. Jeremy, anything you want to say before we close it out?
Nah. Fun week.
Cool.
Fun week.
Yeah. Well, hey, guys. If you're a Giants fan, keep watching Miami, keep watching Colorado, because we'll probably end up with one of those quarterbacks. If you don't want to watch on Sundays, it's fair.
That is a good way to phrase it.
Yeah, my excitement has shifted from Sundays to Saturdays. But like and subscribe, comment, tell us how ass we are, tell us how great we are. Happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you didn't eat the leftovers like I did, like a day too late, and get food poisoning like I feel like is coming on as we speak. But we'll see you later. Thank you guys for watching.